Look like Tommy Rees is telling the truth about Shedeur Sanders potentially playing and what it's like, coach, at the bout, speaking about Shedeur Sanders and his offense. Now, we know the Browns' offense cannot get going in any shape, form, or fashion. It is pretty much a nightmare out there for this team. Now, Tommy Rees spoke with the media today and let some
I'll say this, I came to Cleveland to work for Kevin. That's really the reason I took this job 2 years ago. Think the world of him, still think the world of him. Really, fortunate for the support he's given me over the last week, the support he's had for me over the last couple of years. I wanted to come to Cleveland to work for Kevin. I think the timing of it, you have a bye week, you have some time to step away and look at things through a different perspective and want to create a spark for the offense. And, again, how I feel is whatever they want me to do, whatever's asking me to help us win games, that's what I want to do at the highest.
What if I told you the Browns' new offensive coordinator just lit up the whole internet with one of the coldest reality checks we've heard all season? Tommy Rees didn't sugarcoat a thing about Shedeur Sanders. And fans expecting a fairy tale just got hit with a football horror flick instead. This wasn't your usual press conference pep talk. It was part confession, part chaos, and pure gridiron drama.
Is there anything to this Shedeur not getting first-team reps?
I think it's a little bit strange.
Yeah. You do think it? So you think it is?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
the guy's
right.
one turned ankle one concussion check from upstairs. Drake May had to leave the game for 2 plays last week because the upstairs they thought he had a concussion. Right. So how could he not get 1 rep during the week? Now, just because that's the answer doesn't mean that's what's happening. But
Cleveland's offense right now looks like someone's trying to start a car that's been underwater in Lake Erie since February. The engine coughs, the lights flash like it's New Year's Eve. And just when it almost starts, somebody forgets the keys are still in the ignition. That's the Cleveland mood in one picture. Then out walks Tommy Rees, the man dropped into this offensive disaster zone. He's supposed to turn a jalopy into a jet, and reporters expected fireworks, maybe some bold promise about a comeback story. Instead, Rees stood there and gave everyone the truth, the kind that stings worse than a Myles Garrett hit. He basically told the world, yeah, this offense, it's a group project and no one did the homework. Brutal. Rees came from Notre Dame in Alabama, places where playbooks are treated like holy scripture and quarterbacks know their receivers like family. But in Cleveland, it's survival mode. The bye week was supposed to fix things, but it only showed just how cracked the foundation really is. He didn't drop names, but his message screamed loud. We've got talent. We just don't know what to do with it. The passing game? It's like a science experiment gone wrong. Rees said, it takes all 11, which is coach speak for, stop blaming the quarterback because everyone else is blowing assignments too. That's when Shedeur Sanders quietly slides into the conversation. Not by name, but by situation.
Jackson and him and everybody else that we talked to have said that Shedeur looks good. He looks really good.
Yes.
He looks better. And we got Zach that say Dylan Gabriel ain't even an NFL quarterback.
That's true.
So how is it that this man can't get a rep with the ones, but that non-NFL quarterback can?
We all
what
agree with
sense
that.
Does that make?
It makes no sense.
Clearly, the guys running the team disagree with us.
Man,
it doesn't make any
and they're
sense.
the ones
what are y'all trying to? What is the goal of this?
Because right now, the trust level between this coaching staff and the offense is lower than Cleveland's red zone efficiency. Rees did the classic coach talk, mentioned teamwork, rhythm, communication, all the buzzwords. Translation? We've tried everything short of calling a priest. He said he's studying the quarterbacks, figuring out what makes them tick, which really means we're still guessing, but at least we're guessing together. Then he dropped a gem comparing this mess to his past jobs. At Notre Dame and Alabama, calling plays was like driving a Ferrari, clean, fast, smooth. But in Cleveland, it's like steering a shopping cart with one busted wheel and a screaming toddler in it. Every snap is a full-on adventure. The media tried to get him to say something positive, but Rees stayed locked in realism mode. When they asked about fixing the passing game, he said the bye week was used to reset, figure out what actually works, and get quarterbacks comfortable. He mentioned finding ways to stress defenses.
Maximize opportunities, even if there aren't a ton of reps to go around. You got to be creative with how you create some extra reps, specifically to get Shedeur ready if you can't get a bunch of reps there. So the good news is both guys are bought in and doing a good job of working hard and understanding how important those opportunities are, to be ready for the team. So it is a unique situation. I don't know how many times it's probably happened, but probably not a lot. And we have the right two guys mentally right now in their demeanor and how they're prepping and how they're coming to.
Hilarious, because the only ones stressed right now are Cleveland's defenders, stuck on the field all game while the offense forgets where the end zone is. Still, Rees isn't lying. This offense needs a jolt. When asked how things will look with him calling plays, his answer might as well have been, "Ask me next week." Translation? Right now, I'm just trying to make sure everyone lines up right. He said every play caller adds their own flavor. Stefanski has his style. Reese has his. He joked, "If we're still scoring 10 points, please don't tweet me." That line alone deserves a standing ovation. At Alabama, he said every drive was poetry. At Cleveland, it's slam poetry. Read off a crumpled napkin at an open mic with bad lighting. But here's the kicker. Reese isn't hiding behind excuses. He admitted the Browns don't lack weapons. They've got receivers, tight ends, running backs, a full buffet of talent. But as he bluntly put it, having all those weapons doesn't matter if nobody knows how to use them. This offense has turned into the NFL version of trying to build IKEA furniture without the instructions.
That's not my place, to answer, to even be able to give the answer to that. I feel like it's not in my control. So I'm not even going to think about that or have that even in my thought process of why it is. Like, it's a lot of people that want to have the opportunity to be at this level, and I'm here, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity. So whenever that is, it is. But it doesn't make me feel down, or it doesn't make me feel left out or anything, because I know who I am as a person, I know who I am as an individual, and I know.
Every week they try a new combination of plays, hoping one of them finally turns into a chair. Reese knows it, and deep down everyone else does too. But he's still careful. He's not trying to start a mutiny, so he keeps it professional. Still, the message is clear. He's holding the keys now. He's not promising miracles, though. When asked what fans should expect from his system, he dodged labels like a veteran politician. Reese talked about helping receivers feel more comfortable and reducing drops. Nice words. But let's be real. Cleveland's drops are a seasonal tradition at this point. The funniest part? He still believes in rhythm. He said, "We just need rhythm, like it's something you can download off the App Store." But this offense doesn't need rhythm. It needs a seance. And that circles us back to Shedeur Sanders. Because fans believe rhythm starts with him. They wanted him under center yesterday.
In situations against some tough competition, tough guys. So that goes to show you that Dillon Gabriel is getting all the reps in training camp and in practice. Because Tommy Rees just said himself, he's been thrown in situations with some stiff competition. That means that he's going up against the first team Cleveland Browns defense in practice. Shedeur Sanders doesn't get them opportunities.
But Reese is living in reality. He's not throwing a rookie into this storm and hoping lightning turns him into Superman. He's seen this movie before. Young, talented quarterbacks hyped like legends before they've taken a real NFL hit. The fans scream for action, then the kid gets thrown into chaos and suddenly everyone's pointing fingers. Reese isn't falling for that trap. He's staying patient, which in Cleveland might be the most unpopular strategy of all. He even said how his experience taught him to tune out the noise, handle the pressure, and focus on execution. It's not flashy, it's not headline-worthy, but it's the kind of grounded truth that makes you realize, maybe, just maybe, Reese is the only adult left in the room, and yep, Tommy Rees is staying in the booth. He called it the best vantage point, and honestly, he's got a point. Up there, he doesn't have to see the fans' faces when the offense stalls out again. It's peaceful, just him, the headset, and the echo of missed opportunities bouncing around below. Reese has the resume. He knows how to make an offense hum like a finely tuned engine.
It doesn't make sense that he's a second string now and he's not getting any first team reps. It also doesn't make sense that he's not being considered to play any games this year, regardless of what we've been hearing. But this is the first time I've actually heard something that has to do with the planning and the development of any of the Browns quarterbacks, especially when it comes to Shedeur. They are being honest. Well, he is being honest. Tommy Rees is being honest with saying that, like, look, he's not going to get a ton of looks, but we're going to maximize whatever.
But this Cleveland project, it's more like taking over a garage band where half the players forgot how to tune their instruments. He's rewriting the whole playbook symphony, trying to get everyone to hit the same note. And right now, they're all playing different songs. People are already whispering that Reese looks a little too cautious, a little too by the book, while somewhere in the shadows, Shedeur Sanders is just waiting. He's polishing his craft, learning quietly, maybe even chuckling at the chaos in front of him. Because deep down, he knows his time's coming. Just not while Reese is still trying to get the bass player to stop drumming on the wrong beat.
We want to hear, but you know what? It makes sense now. Because the first few people, and when I say few, I mean 4 or 5 people that y'all put in front of the media when y'all ask about Shedeur, other than saying, I don't know or no, you actually gave a thought out plan that we can go with. we understand that he's a second string. We understand that he didn't come into the season a second string, but at least be a professional and give us a plan on how you plan on developing him if you're going to be asked these types of questions.
Reese isn't running from the spotlight. He just hates fake hope. In a league built on illusions and hype trains, his honesty feels like a bucket of cold water dumped right over a stadium full of hot takes. And in Cleveland, that's about as refreshing as it gets. But don't think he's done talking yet. Far from it. In Cleveland terms, that means nobody's crying during film study anymore, because at least they know what's real. Reese wants something the city hasn't seen since the Reagan years. Continuity. When someone asked him if he plans to let the tight ends cook, you could practically hear him smirk through the mic. The tight ends have been cooking, he said. Just the wrong plays. Savage. Reese is tightening bolts, cleaning off rust, and preaching patience like it's gospel. And the crazy part? The players are actually listening.
Shedeur thing, I don't understand at all. Maybe they think to themselves, we don't need to give you these many practice reps because we're going to give you a bunch of game reps. So maybe we just want to get you rested. He is coming off a sore shoulder and all those things. So maybe that's the case. I don't know. But I don't like it that much. I don't at all. I think that going into this game, sitting some of the best wide receivers that you have is kind of diminishing him a little bit as well, because
Sure, the fans are already dreaming about Shedeur Sanders lighting up defenses and turning the dog pound into a highlight reel again, but Reese isn't handing out fantasy endings. He's not a magician. He's a mechanic. And right now, this Browns offense is still up on the lift, missing half its parts and leaking oil everywhere. It's that time of year again. Cleveland's trying to figure out what offense actually means. New coach, new playbook, same old confusion. And right in the center of all this madness stands Tommy Rees. Fresh off the Alabama roller coaster, now holding a clipboard in Cleveland and realizing fast that teaching this team rhythm is like trying to teach a cat to swim. The man hasn't even finished unpacking his suitcase, and he's already knee-deep in quarterback drama. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders, the internet's favorite highlight reel, is the ghost haunting every question. Fans are convinced Reese has some secret plan, maybe even a personal grudge. But the truth? He's probably just trying to find a center who can snap the ball without launching it into orbit. You don't get those reps because you're flashy or trending. You get them because you know the system. And right now, that system's on life support. Shedeur Sanders might be the future, but the Browns can't even handle the present. The offensive line's got more gaps than a fishing net, the receivers treat separation like it's optional, and the playbook looks like it was scribbled together during a blackout. Reese isn't ignoring Shedeur. He's just making sure the rest of this offense doesn't explode before September even gets here.
Is going on behind the scene? How can this kid that was rated as a late first-round draft pick not get on the field for a team that sucks? They're not even giving him reps. That's on the coach, man. Stefanski's going to have to answer for that, and it might come at the end of the year, and it might come in the form of firing. What is going on? Does he have I don't want to pick on Kevin. Does he even have a...
That's the chaos Shedeur's stepping into, not some fine-tuned NFL machine. More like a science experiment where the formula changes every week. He's standing on the sideline, watching, waiting, and you can tell it's eating him alive. The guy's a competitor through and through. But Reese knows what fans don't. Tossing Shedeur into this right now would be like dropping a Ferrari engine into a go-kart and praying it suddenly turns into a race car. Fans think Reese is scared of Shedeur's talent, but really he's terrified of wasting it. Meanwhile, Reese is too busy studying film, trying to figure out how his offensive line managed to turn a simple protection scheme into modern art. He's not downplaying Shedeur's ability. He's just being real. The kid's got the arm, the vision, the swagger, but none of it matters if he doesn't have time to breathe in the pocket. And let's be honest, Cleveland's current pass protection looks like it was drawn with crayons by someone blindfolded. Reese has been here 5 minutes and already sounds like a therapist trying to calm down a team on the verge of a meltdown. Deep breaths, guys. Let's not panic on third down again. To his credit, Tommy Rees isn't buying into the hype tornado. He's seen hype destroy players before. The kind of attention that turns young stars into hashtags overnight.
Shedeur.
Yeah.
And this is going. I mean, no disrespect to all you Shedeur lovers.
Oh boy, here it comes.
But if Shedeur,
I'm gonna move over here.
If Shedeur Sanders was a bona fide first-round pick,
yes,
there would be nothing that would stop an organization from taking that guy.
1,000%
you are correct.
Because I just watched. What's the kid from Marshall?
But there will be people that won't believe you. But you're right. Now, that being said, not that we want to go down this whole road. I don't think he dropped to the 5th round.
I
as a
agree.
talent.
No, I agree with you.
He didn't get taken.
I agree.
Not getting taken in the 1st round. that was
Clearly,
talent.
watching him in practice right now tells you that.
So he's keeping his focus on the boring stuff that actually wins football games. Blocking, timing, execution, discipline. This offense doesn't need a new headline. It needs a heart-to-heart. Because right now, every first down feels like a happy accident. But you can already feel the shift. Practices look sharper. The players seem more dialed in. And while the scoreboard hasn't caught up yet, the tone has. Reese is holding people accountable. Something this locker room hasn't felt in a long time. He's not here for showtime. He's here to build something that lasts, something that doesn't collapse the second adversity hits. And that's what makes this all so ironic. Browns fans are losing their minds because Tommy Rees is doing his job correctly. He's choosing structure over chaos, logic over hype, patience over panic. Imagine that. Cleveland with a plan that doesn't involve hitting the reset button halfway through the season.
Reese, the offensive coordinator, just came out and said, because like I told you guys, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors with this Shedeur Sanders situation, man, because we've seen footage of him in practice lighting it up. We've seen media reports. We've seen the fan out there in Cleveland on their radio show and their podcast talking about Shedeur Sanders is lighting it up in practice. And a lot of people have been at practice and they seeing what Dylan Gabriel is doing and they saying he's looking a little predictable.
So when you see those headlines screaming about how Tommy Rees was brutally honest about Shedeur Sanders, remember, that's not shade, it's discipline. He's not attacking anyone. He's saying what every honest coach wishes they could say. Let's learn to play as a team before we start building statues. Reese knows Shedeur's moment will come. Talent like that doesn't stay hidden forever. But he also knows the NFL doesn't care about potential. It cares about production. And production only happens when the system around you actually functions. Reese isn't here to baby egos or chase viral moments. He's here to rebuild Cleveland's offense from the ground up. And yeah, the process is gonna be messy. It's gonna be awkward, maybe even hilarious at times. But that's exactly what this franchise needs. Because the Browns don't need another quick fix savior. They need a plan, a foundation, and someone who won't blink when things get ugly. So sure, Tommy Rees was brutally honest, but that's the best news Cleveland fans could have hoped for. It means finally someone's got both hands on the wheel, steering this thing with purpose, and when the dust settles, maybe, just maybe, Shedeur Sanders steps onto that field not as the miracle fix, but as the reward for doing things the right way. And in Cleveland, that would be the biggest miracle of all. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Because this story's just getting started, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.